Okay, but what did that say? Oh,
Well, you have audio,
okay,
because if you mouse into the black box,
yep.
there's the
Okay.
controls.
Like this keyboard, even a tiny bit. I'm in. See, and the volume is over here somewhere, isn't it?
You know, I never use the volume on the,
Okay,
I just use
so use the TV
you can
volume,
use the TV volume.
or which one do you use?
You know, honestly, I never monkey with it unless someone on the other end says to use it. So yeah, probably on.
Coat here. Good morning, everyone. I don't have a gavel with me, but my name is Alicia Harvey, Chair of the Tourism Advisory Council. We are recording, I believe. Yes, we are recording. So this will officially call the October 9, 2024 meeting of the Montana Tourism Advisory Council to order. The digital Zoom platform we are on will record the meeting electronically for official meeting minutes. This recording will not be edited and no content will be cut. All, please raise your virtual hand to speak, and when called upon, please help the public by identifying yourself when you speak, explaining any acronyms that may be used in discussion, and if you are referring to any documents or anything outside of what we're discussing here, please state the name of the document you are referring to. So with that, I'm going to take I'm going to flip-flop the first two and take roll call just to ensure we have a quorum to make this meeting. So when I call your name, please unmute yourself and say you are present. So I'm going to start with myself, Alicia Harvey. I am present. Dr. Saber Moore.
Present.
Joan Cronenbush.
Present.
Matt Gibo. Brookie Erb.
Present.
And Paul Makarishian. I think we have someone calling in on the phone. Is that one of our council members that we're seeing on the screen? Either Matt or Paul? Okay, you haven't unmuted yourself, so I'm going to assume no. So with 4 of the 6 Tourism Advisory Council members present, we have a quorum to move forward. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Mandy Rambo, the Montana Department of Commerce Deputy Director. Welcome, Mandy. It is an honor to have you here. And we would just love to have any opening remarks you would like to give to the council.
Thank you so much, Alicia. I apologize for not having my camera on. I am driving currently, so joining you from the car. But thank you for having me. I know, Alicia, that this is next on your agenda, so I don't want to steal your thunder, but do just want to say thank you to our exiting TAC members. Mike Johnson, his term ended the end of the summer, June 30th, I believe. And then say welcome to our new TAC member and a reappointed TAC member. So welcome to Brookie Erb, and then to Nathan St. Goddard, who was reappointed in his role. I will just make a little plug for all of you members of the public who are on here. We are still looking for 3 Tourism Advisory Council members. We do still have 2 members who are working expired terms. Haley Ship and she represents the Missouri River Country region. Paul, who represents our at-large member So that could be from anywhere throughout the state. And then we have a vacant TAC position for the tribal government position as well. So if you do have anyone who you think may make a good candidate, you can always send them my way, or they can definitely go to the governor's boards and appointments website and apply there as well. But I would just like to say thank you to all of the TAC members who are here today. I know it takes time from your busy calendars to work on the Tourism Advisory Council, and we appreciate the work that you do and the time that you have to put into this. We all know that it is a volunteer position, so thank you for that. I don't have a whole lot of updates for you, just to share that, of course, we are frantically working on legislative session items. We do not have a legislative agenda to share with you today, and we will not until after the governor's budget is posted, which is set to happen on November 15th. At that point in time, we would be happy to discuss any legislative items publicly, but until that point in time, we are not able to do that. But happy to answer any questions from the commission or from the council if you have any questions. And if not, just again, thank you for your time and thank you for the work that you do for Montana tourism.
Thank you so much, Mandy. That was very nice. Thank you for multitasking as well. And we look forward to you staying with us as long as you can. And thank you also for being willing to answer our questions. Wonderful. Thank you, Mandy. It's an honor to have you here. And thank you for that date again for the governor's budget release. I didn't have my pen in my hand. Mandy, what was that date again? That
November 15th.
Oh, 15th. Thank you. I wrote the 5th. So thank you. The 15th. Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank you. And I will would love to welcome our newest member, Brookie Erb. Brookie, I've done a little sleuthing on you, and Brookie has been appointed by the governor to represent Southwest Montana. She is the executive director of the Barrett Hospital Foundation and lives in Dillon. And Brookie, we would love for you to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, thank you for having me today. So I've been the executive director here at Barrett Hospital Foundation for the past 8 years. I've lived in Gallatin and Beaverhead counties for 60 years. I have 3 children. My oldest daughter is the director of public affairs for the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority in Washington, D.C. My son is a vice president at the Bank of Commerce here in Dillon, and my youngest daughter is a prosecuting attorney in South Texas. So I raised a lobbyist, a banker, and a lawyer. I am married to Calvin. He is a retired attorney, and we own and operate E-Bar Cattle Company, a cow-calf and yearling operation in Beaverhead County. I guess one of the things that might make us unique is that in 2006, we became voluntary landowner participants in the Big Hole Arctic Grayling Candidate Conservation Agreement with assurances to enhance riparian habitat, saving the last native population of the Arctic Grayling in the lower 48. We've also partnered with Fish, Wildlife, and Parks to manage and protect sage grouse habitat in the upper North Fork of the Big Hole Valley. So a little bit about me. Thank you.
Thank you. And yesterday, while we were briefly catching up, you just had twin grandbabies born. So congratulations on that.
Identical twin girls in South Texas. I just got back from there.
That is exciting. Well, we're thrilled to have you have been appointed to the council, and we look forward to your expertise moving forward. This is a unique meeting where it's a lot of just business and a lot of voting. So please don't be shy to speak up to second or approve or, other motions, but we are so excited to get to know you and look forward to seeing you in person at our in-person meetings. Welcome, Brookie. With that, I just want to say a thank you because we're virtual. We don't have plaques made, but we'll get those made and sent out to our outgoing members. And I want to, as Mandy did, thank Montana Tech Ore Digger and U of M Grizzly alum Mike Johnson, who was with us for 3 years, served as vice chair for 2 years, is president of Montana Consulting Inc., has 8 hotels in and around Montana, and has been a great leader in the tourism industry in the state, and a good friend and a colleague to me. So I thank him for all of his time on the council, and know we will see him all over the place, and just thank him for that. Mandy, just overnight, and I will forward you the email, Nathan Sangader resigned from the council. So even though he was appointed, he emailed me overnight, and I didn't have time this morning to look at my emails until just the start of this meeting. So he has, even though he was reappointed, he has resigned. So he will not be joining us today. He was a U of M Grizzly, an enrolled Blackfeet tribal member and attorney. He served us for 3 years and runs the family business of Johnson's in St. Mary. He was very valuable as our tribal business member, and he will be missed. So again, to the council and to the public and Mandy, that is unfortunately a position we have to fill as well. Haley Ship had resigned as well from Missouri River Country. She is an MSU Billings Bobcat alum, and we watched her raise her little newborn while serving on the council. So she will be missed, but she needed to focus on her family and her job. And so we welcome new applicants for Missouri River Country. And so I think I got that going. And at the start of the meeting as well, I just wanted to remind the public and the council while we're here, and the governor appointed Tourism Advisory Council, acronym TAC, oversees the distribution of the lodging facility use tax, also known as the bed tax, to Montana's tourism regions and convention and visitor bureaus. We advise the Department of Commerce relative to tourism promotion and fulfills other functions as defined by MCA 2-15-1816. I would like to welcome our DMOs, our destination marketing organizations, our regions and CVBs. I'd like to welcome the public and all of those from the Department of Commerce or the governor's office that are joining us here. At this time, I'd like to move on to the public comment section of our agenda. And this is the time where the public can comment on anything that relates to the purview of the Tourism Advisory Council. Please state your name and where you're from. By raising your virtual hand, you will state your name when called upon and state where you are from. This is the time to comment on matters falling within the purview of the Tourism Advisory Council. There will also be an opportunity for public comment on each agenda item. You'll be able to address the council with a comment on each agenda item when it comes to that time. And I see we have a hand. So Rebecca, I welcome you with public comment.
Thank you. Rebecca Ingham with Great Falls, Montana Tourism, and now Central Montana Tourism. I wanted to share with the Tourism Advisory Council that Central Montana Tourism underwent a request for proposal process to secure a management partner to better fulfill the mission of the organization. We, as an organization for Central Montana Tourism, had looked at the Southwest business model and really felt that a management partner was going to be the best way to move the organization forward, to leverage our small budget in a way that's going to produce greater results for the region. And through that request for proposal process, Great Falls, Montana Tourism was selected as the partner to become the management agency for the organization, which under that agreement makes me the executive director for Great Falls, Montana Tourism, along with Central Montana Tourism. And our organization is in the process of hiring a tourism director that will 100% be devoted to the efforts of Central Montana tourism and fulfilling our strategies and plans. So not a new face, but kind of a new situation that I just wanted to share. And I look forward to helping lead Central Montana into a future of growth and better prosperity for the travel industry in our 13 counties.
Thank you, Rebecca. I know over the years, it's been an up and down, you know, with consistent leadership for Central Montana. And this is exciting news for that. Congratulations. I know Joan is excited to represent your region, and I'm sure you've been in the know of all of these meetings. And yes, it's good, good, nice.
Thanks, Alicia.
Yeah, thank you, Rebecca. Do we have any other comments from the public? And do we have anyone from the legislature or anyone representing local or state governments on the phone as a elected official? We just want to recognize you and say hello. All right, seeing no further comments, we will move on to our Tourism Advisory Council Committee reports. And Dr. Saber Moore, if you would please give us a report on the Heritage Committee.
Good morning, everyone. I was not at the last Heritage Committee meeting. However, we did welcome our new director, Cal Poole. Yay, Cal. We're very excited for him to take the helm, and we have a number of projects underway, including working on the Stonewall Hall and getting that together. And I think that's pretty much what I have. Yeah, so not a lot of updates at this time, but there will be more at the next meeting as we kind of figure out how the season went and get some reports from that. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, Sabers. Thank you, Saber, for serving on the that committee, the State Heritage Committee, for the council and representing us there. We appreciate you. We had Nathan down for a tribal tourism update, but with Nathan resigning from the council at the last minute overnight, then we will not, we unfortunately do not have a tribal tourism report unless any existing member here on the council would like to give any update from their region on tribal tourism. Okay. Rules and procedures. Joan, we would love to hear a committee update from you, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Alicia. Rules and procedures did not meet, but good news, we will be meeting in person on October 25th in Helena. I will defer to Barbara for location details, if that's all right. Barbara?
Okay, I'll be happy to do that, facilitate that, Joan. Let's touch base afterwards and work on details.
Okay. Do we have a time on the meeting, Barb? In Helena?
We do not.
Okay, good. That's fine. So everyone in attendance on the call, details will be coming about the October 25th in-person meeting for rules and procedures. I'll look forward to seeing whoever would like to participate in that. And if anyone is in need of hotel accommodations, just shoot me an email, joank@townpump.com. I will do my best to secure a state rate at our hotel on that day, if I can. Making no promises. So, thank you. That's all I have, Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Legislative Committee, this was chaired by Mike. I really have no update except our Legislative Committee, we're going to be coming into a legislative year. And usually that, since we are a smaller group now, when we were 20 plus members, it used to be a committee, but now that there's only 6 of us on the council, the legislative committee is all of us. So I will be looking for a committee chair to chair the legislative committee and to keep us apprised of what's going on. We really partner with our other industry organizations, as the council has no legislative real responsibility. We are not allowed to, without the approval of the governor, we are not allowed to testify in a council role. We can only testify as an individual. If we are to testify, I just want to give you, we have to get the permission of the governor ahead of time. Otherwise, you're just a member of the public. So always coming into a legislative year, we like to keep our finger on the pulse, and we welcome DMO input as well. So that's an important every other year to keep our finger on what the legislative act is looking at in regards to the facility use tax and how it pertains to our role. So I don't have anything except we're coming into a new legislative year to keep us apprised of. All right, we are now coming on to the next item of business is I skipped something earlier, forgive me. The next item of business is the approval of the minutes from our June 4 and 5, 2024 in-person meeting. So I would like to, are there any corrections to the minutes? They were posted on our Tourism Advisory Council portal. I'm not seeing anyone mention any corrections. If there are no corrections, I would entertain a motion to approve the June 4 and 5, 2024 Tourism Advisory Council meeting minutes.
It's Joan. I will move to approve.
Thank you, Joan. Do we have a second?
Saber, I will second.
Thank you, Saber, for the second. It has been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, please unmute yourselves. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion is carried and the minutes are approved.
Alicia, this is Barb. Matt has joined us, so I promoted him. Looks like I promoted him to panelist.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, thank you, Matt. I know
Hello,
you're on
Matt. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Sorry, yeah, thanks. Not feeling super awesome this morning, so I apologize for my tardiness.
Thank you for joining us being ill, and feel free to keep your camera off. I know how it is. We thank you for your continued service, even being ill. So we are grateful for you being in attendance. So going back to the agenda, have I skipped over anything else? Trying to do my best here. I think I've got us caught up to our next agenda item. Yes. Okay. Good. Yeah. All right. Feel free to yell out if I skip over anything else again. Great. So we're coming up to our audits. Next item of business is the approval of our audit reports. And we have a lot of them, Council, and I'm going to go through each one by one. I will make a motion. We will require a first and second from the council and any discussion. Barb will also promote the director. Sorry, my camera just went all over my screen there. For us to talk about their audit and for us to ask any questions. And then I'll lead us through the motions. So we are gonna do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 times. So that is a lot from us, but please participate in this motioning for us. This is an important part of our role as we are auditing the previous fiscal year that ended June 30th, 2024. So Barb, with that, I will turn it over to you to bring up our order of things, explain the audit, promote the director of that DMO, and then we'll move with the voting.
Okay, I believe I'm showing the audits. Can you see the Missouri River? Okay. And then Alicia, do you want me to show the audit or the motions?
I've got the motion, just this audit. Yeah.
Okay,
I think you need to zoom out just a titch. Just a skosh.
okay.
I think just.
Not you, your screen.
Like right in the middle of the screen.
Oh.
Above the green.
It just
there's
cuts off just a little bit. I know each one will be a little different. And welcome, Missouri River Country, Carla. We're excited to have you join us this morning.
right next. Oh, there's other one. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Is that,
And we need to see the bottom part, I think. your
okay,
notes.
yep, I'm getting there. Thank you for your patience.
Oh yeah, no,
These-
this is fun.
These darn Zoom bars that there, is that an okay size?
Yes, perfect.
Okay,
Unless you're on
thank
a
you.
phone, then it's probably horrible, but yes. Yeah, we've got you. Thank you, Barb.
Okay. You want me, the Missouri River Country audit went well, there weren't any issues. And then Carla did a great job, she always does a great job, and they have 3 cents remaining in uncommitted funds. Is that a review you want me to do, Alicia?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
All right.
And is Carla promoted to give us any comments?
Yes, let me work on that, thank you. Let's see, Carla. Okay,
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so as Barb said, our audit went good, which is always a relief. And so yes, that 56 there, 56,000 was committed into the FY25 budget, and that is just that is well welcomed when we do have that money, because it gives us a little cushion there. And so we will be spending that money in FY25.
Great.
Any questions?
No, thank you, Carla. Thank you very much. With that, is there any discussion from the council regarding Missouri River Country's audit? Hearing no discussion, I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Missouri River Country audit as submitted with 3 cents remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
It's Joan. I will move to approve.
Thank you, Joan. Is there a second?
This is Saber, I second.
Thank you, Saber. I will now open it up for discussion. I'm not hearing anybody. If I hear no discussion, and so I will proceed with the vote. All in favor of approving the Missouri River Country FY24 audit, please say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Missouri River Country FY24 audit is approved. Congratulations, Carla. Thank you. We are now moving on to visit Southeast Montana. Hello, hello, Brenda. Joan, Barb, would you like to walk us through the audit and then Brenda can chat?
Sure. I am multitasking here, shifting between multiple screens. So.
Yes, I know. That's all right.
Okay, visit Southeast Montana. Brenda did a great job, and Megan Stevenson, they did a great job keeping their records in order. They did have one item that was discussed at the time of the audit. There's nothing that requires council action at this time. They have 42 cents in uncommitted funds on hand. And one thing I'll mention too that I look at during the audits is to see if they're spending their funds down. I know that was brought up last year to ask for the DMOs to start spending down their money. So I've been looking at their starting balance and comparing it to the ending balance to see if funds have been spent down. So that's one other thing that I do look at when I'm doing the audits. And as we can see here, Southeast Montana did do that. So that's always, that's good. So I do want to add that comment.
Thank you, Barb. Will you take a moment? Sorry, Brenda, I'm going to ask you to wait for 1 second. Barb, will you take a moment just to explain again for everyone what the committed to FY25 plan is versus allocated following the audit versus uncommitted tax funds on hand? Just to, if you wouldn't mind just giving a quick refresher for everyone on the call what those are.
And I'll start at the top. The 363,000 is the amount of money that was in the bank at the beginning of fiscal year FY24. $916,020 was sent in new revenue. They earned $8,933.85 in interest. And they spent $966,153, which then left them with $322,692.42 left in the bank at the end of FY24. And of that 322,000, when they put their marketing plan together in June, when it was approved in June, put it together, let's say in April and May, they knew they were going to have money left over from their FY24 plan. So they committed 180,000 of that when they put their FY25 plan together back in April and May. Then that left $142,692 remaining. Then what the DMOs do with that allocated following audit line item is they put it into their FY25 budget, and that will be step 2 of this process, is the approval of the increase in budgets using the allocated following audit funds. And those, you'll see those budget reports coming up next, and they'll match these amounts.
Great, thank you. Thank
And
you, Barb.
sure, I didn't mention the committed to FY24. The committed to FY24 are funds that if you had an FY24 bill that was received in FY25. So bills that were paid in FY25 that were FY24 expenses. And in this case, all their fiscal year-end bills were paid by June 30th.
Great, thank you. I think that's always helpful when we come into this year. Thank you,
Sure.
Barb. That was excellent.
Down-
Brenda.
down-
Oh, go ahead, Barb, sorry.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say one final thing. Their accumulated interest is down here at the bottom.
Okay. Fantastic.
Brandon just asked.
All right, Brenda, welcome. Are you still with us, Brenda?
Alicia,
Yeah.
she had a message in the chat that asked if
Okay.
she could, if we could hear her.
No. Thank you. Thank you, Joan. Thanks for keeping an eye on the chat.
Okay, try that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, hey, Brenda. We
Oh, good
can.
morning. Sorry about that. So thank you, Barb. And just a quick comment. You know, we're always out here doing our best, and staff changes sometimes, you know, put some projects a little bit behind, and that's fine. And that's the work environment we have, or the, you know, the workforce we all are dealing with right now, a lot of transitions. But I would like to note, and I think that there's others that probably feel very similar. There's a great challenge in managing these budgets when we have other projects like the resiliency grant application. There are some organizations that have RAP funds. So we're really, I think these budgets, at least in the 8 years I've been doing this, used to be a little bit more, I don't want to say static, but less dynamic than they are now. And so I do appreciate everyone's patience with these, because if, you know, I literally create, if resiliency grant is awarded, if resiliency grant is not, how do we still, you know, complete the projects that we, our boards and we as organizations want to do. Specifically for Visit Southeast, it is a tourism ambassador program that would be region-wide. So there's going to potentially be more changes if the grants are awarded and or not. And I can see that those RAP funds have similar challenges. So I think patience is the name of the game at this point. But Barb does such a great job. And Megan, they really do all the heavy lifting. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you are dealing with so many more pots of money and differing money and differing reporting on each one. Brenda, I thank you for saying that, for publicly saying that, and we understand and appreciate that, and are grateful for all you do to weave through that and the nuances that it take, and not knowing if you're going to receive funds from other areas too. So we're really grateful for that, and we look forward to hearing from you, yeah, again during the budgeting. Oh, go ahead, Brenda.
I'm sorry, and I don't want it to sound like this isn't something that we don't want these things. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's a new situation for all of us to do that, as you said, that juggling. So, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely happy to with that. Any more discussion? Any questions for Brenda? I'm not seeing any. All right. The Southeast Montana FY24 audit report has been presented, and I am not seeing any further discussion. Seeing no further discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve the FY24 Southeast Montana audit as submitted, with 42 cents remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Saber.
Thank you,
Aye.
Saber, for the first.
This is Joan. I will second.
Joan, thank you for the second. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the audit, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the FY24 Visit Southeast Montana audit has been approved. Congratulations, Brenda. Thank you. We're going to move on to Yellowstone Country. Barb, please present the report.
Okay. Alrighty. Yellowstone Country did a great job of keeping the records in order. Robin always does a great job given their huge budget. And there were a few items that were discussed, nothing needs follow-up. And they have 39 cents remaining. In this instance, they did have approximately $100,000 worth of bills that were for FY24, paid in FY25. And I can see that they were just real consistent with their funds. I know that organizations also try to have a at least like a cash flow balance, and so that is certainly recommended too. But go ahead, Robin.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Robin, we've got you.
Sorry. And I apologize. I am doing double duty. I'm home caring for my husband as well as working. So I was answering a question. Sorry about that. Forgot I was unmuted. Just a couple comments. Barb, thanks for pointing out that the cash flow thing, because I think it's important for those who don't work with the bed tax and the way things flow with quarterly payments and such, to understand that we're always a quarter behind as far as cash flow. So we use basically the quarterly payment as our operating cash flow for the next quarter. So it's sometimes those balances, especially if you're a bigger budget like Yellowstone Country or Glacier Country, that we look like we have a lot of money that we're sitting on, but we really aren't. Second comment on that is with the fiscal year 24 committed funds, that 100,000 that Barb pointed out. One of the programs that Yellowstone Country has within our budget is our cultural tourism events grant. And again, we're always operating either ahead or behind on depending on how you look at it. But a lot of those were those grants that were approved by my board of directors were summer grants, even though they were funded out of fiscal year 24. Because of the timeline process for the grant program, they actually won't be reporting and billing me as a reimbursement grant until after July 1st. So that's why I had to commit the money for those grants to the fiscal year 25 to be paid. So that's my comments.
Thank you so much, Robin. And even though we represent you run Yellowstone Country, and we have, one of the big it factors, it's been really impressive to see all of the promotion you and your team have been doing for the rural parts of Yellowstone Country. And it's just been exciting to see all that. So thank you for that, Robin. And thank you for chatting about your cash on hand, that it's not always as simple as what this spreadsheet audit looks like. So thank you. Does the council have any questions or discussion with Robin? Seeing no further discussion from Robin, I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Yellowstone Country audit as submitted with 39 cents remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Joan. So moved.
Thank you, Joan.
This is Saber second. I was sorry, I was gonna let Brookie do it, but
Thank you.
second.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we have a lot of this today. Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the audit, please say aye.
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 All the, thank you. All those opposed say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Yellowstone Country FY24 audit has been approved. Congratulations, Robin. Thank you. All right, we are going to move on to Discover Anaconda. Barb, please present the report. Barb, if you are talking, I think you're on mute.
He was talking, my apologies, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Well, then, I will say this was Discover Anaconda's inaugural year for an audit, and they did a super great job. Kathleen was very helpful during the auditing process. They did a great job keeping records in order. I appreciate the hard work they did for their first year. And I can tell you that they were sent $21,527 and they spent $9,540. And then then their cash on hand, they had 6,986 committed to FY24 projects. And then when they put their FY25 plan together, they committed 5,000 to that plan during April and May for the June approval process, which then left them with 0 funds to allocate and 0 funds remaining after the audit and did not accrue any interest. So thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you, Barb. Kathleen, welcome to the meeting. We would love to have any comments from you about your year and your audit. Congratulations on your inaugural year. We were so excited to vote you in last year as a new DMO. And Kathleen, you have the floor.
Well, thank you. I just really appreciate Barb's help with all of this. She just made it all so easy. So for even being for the first time, it was much easier than I was expecting it to be. So I feel like we had a good year, and we kind of learned a lot. So for FY25, I think our plan is even better for next year, and so looking forward to that. And thank you.
Thank you. Does the council have any questions for Kathleen regarding the audit? Seeing no further discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve the FY24 Discover Anaconda audit as submitted with $0 remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Matt, so moved.
Thank you, Matt.
This is Joan, second.
Thank you, Joan. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the audit, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the FY24 Discover Anaconda audit is approved. Congratulations, Kathleen, and here's to a great new year for you. Thank you. Moving on to visit billings, and we just want to have an outgoing great thank you to Alex, who led Visit Billings for a very long time. And to Megan as well, kind of continuing on. Barbara, please present the Visit Billings audit report.
Sure. As you said, Alex Tyson did a great job, and Megan also, as the accountant, does a great job. And there was one item that was discussed during the audit, and there's nothing that requires council action at this time. And yeah, I do just want to say how much I appreciated Alex's the way she led Visit Billings, and she was a super asset. But I know that Allie taking over for her is going to do a great job, and I absolutely look forward to working with her too. So welcome, Allie, to your first audit review.
Welcome, Allie. We would love any comments from you. It's nice to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, as you guys can imagine, I feel like I have the world's biggest shoes to fill, but I'm very grateful to have spent 8 years under Alex, and obviously is also extremely grateful to have Megan Stevenson on our staff. I know Brenda and I would be nothing without our accounting rock star that Megan is. So I'm looking forward to diving in. I think I'm on day 11 in this role. So I've already had a board meeting and now an audit report. And so here we go. The one thing that I would just share is that the remaining funds were already allocated back into our paid media. So that's where those will go for this year.
Great, thank you, Allie. Are there any questions from the council to Allie regarding the audit? Seeing no questions or discussion, I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Visit Billings audit as submitted with 53 cents in remaining uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Saber, so moved.
Thank you, Saber.
Joan, second.
Joan, thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the audit, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Are there any abstentions?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Was that an unmute blooper for our blooper reel? I think so. Okay, I think that was, so with that, congratulations, Allie. The motion carries to approve the FY24 Visit Billings audit. Thank you very much. All right, we're moving on to Columbia Falls. Barb, please present the FY24 Columbia Falls audit report.
Audio. Columbia Falls also had their inaugural audit and did a fantastic job keeping their records in order. There were a few items that we discussed, but nothing that requires council action. And again, thank you very much to Laura for doing such a great job. They received $30,145, spent $21,006, and $3,550 is committed to their FY24 projects, and they have $4,970 remaining in uncommitted. And with a 50-cent, pardon me, they allocated $4,970 and they have 50 cents remaining.
Wonderful. We are excited to have Columbia Falls as a new DMO, and if you have a moment to let Laura, oh, maybe she's already in.
Good morning.
Hi, Laura. Thanks for joining us today.
thanks
We
for
would
having
love
me.
to have any comments from you about your first year in your audit.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Barb for making it such a easy process. I was a little intimidated at first for a first audit, but it all was very smooth and went well. I do want to say we finally have our official DMO website launched. That was the committed to fiscal year 24 that was finalizing that website. So we're super excited about that. Otherwise, it was a great year and looking forward to this year.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you, Laura. Does the council have any questions or discussion for Laura? Well, I'm excited to take a look at that website, Laura. Seeing no more and hearing no more discussion, I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Columbia Falls DMO audit as submitted with 50 cents remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
Matt, so moved.
Thank you, Matt.
Joan, second.
Joan, thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no more discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the audit, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the FY24 Columbia Falls DMO audit is approved. Congratulations, Laura. Thank you very much. All right, we're zooming down in the western part of the state down to down to Dillon, Montana. Barbara, please report on the FY24 Dillon audit.
Sure. Rebecca Jones did a great job keeping the Dillon records in order, and I always appreciate her extra effort. And there was just a couple items that we discussed during the time of the audit. Nothing requires council action. They received $39,855, spent $42,607. So they did spend down some of their remaining funds, and then the remaining $7,813 was committed to their FY25 plan with 83 cents remaining.
Thank you, Barbara. Rebecca, welcome to the council meeting. Would you like to give us comments on your year and your audit, please?
Sure, and thank you, and good morning to everyone. And I'm sorry, I don't have a way of turning on my camera. So anyway, but no worries. Things are looking great here in Dillon. And I think the year was a great year. We were able to really get some marketing out there, paid media out there. It's a small budget, but I feel like we really try to wring everything we can out of this little budget. And some of the extra money for this coming year, we're going to be redoing our website. So I want to take a look at that other website so that we can maybe get some ideas. But we are working with someone to redo and refresh this website. We did this probably about 4 years ago when I first started here in Dillon, and so it's time to kind of keep things fresh.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rebecca. Does the council have any questions or discussion with Rebecca? Seeing no and hearing no questions or discussion for Rebecca, I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Dillon DMO audit as submitted with 83 cents remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Brookie, so moved.
Thank you, Brookie.
Matt, second.
Thank you, Matt. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the audit, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the FY24 Dillon DMO audit has been approved. Congratulations, Rebecca. Thank you so much. Now we're going to go on to Great Falls.
Okay, Great Falls. Rebecca Ingham did a great job keeping the records in order. There were just a few items that were discussed. There is nothing that requires council action at this time. They received $232,000, spent $193,000 with $59,000 remaining, which has been allocated after the audit to their FY24, and they have 77 cents remaining.
Thank you, Barbara. Welcome, Rebecca, welcome back to the meeting. We would love your comments or discussion on your audit.
I would just share that from this audit, which is an anomaly, and I don't know how it happened, but we did miss one of our payments, one of our quarterly payments. So that's why you see so much cash on hand. I don't know why it was missed, but we didn't receive our third quarter payment, and I didn't notice that until May. And so we were able to rectify that, but a little bit late in the fiscal year. So that's why you see so much of that cash on hand that we had to allocate for fiscal year 25 moving forward. It's still a paid media item for us, but I just wanted to draw the attention to that, as that was a fault on my part, which caused us to have so much money on hand at the end of the audit.
Thank you for going on that. But yes, you didn't notice, but you also didn't get the money. So yeah,
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, very good. And we appreciate you. That's why we always love these comments, right? There's always more to it than just what shows on the paper. You were also very busy kind of merging a couple DMOs in their operational plan too. But yes, those payments
No
are
excuse to miss $60,000. So
that's
on
all
me.
right. That's okay. Thank you. Does the council have any questions or discussion for Rebecca? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Great Falls DMO audit as submitted, with 77 cents remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Joan, so moved.
Thank you, Joan.
Matt, second.
Matt, thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the audit, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Great Falls FY24 DMO audit has been approved. Congratulations, Rebecca, and thank you for everything. All right, we're heading west to Kalispell. Barbara, please present the Kalispell FY24 DMO audit.
Right, thank you. Well, Kalispell Diane did a great job keeping her records in order, and I always appreciate it. They have, let me double check here. There we go. They also spent down their funding, that they had 33,000 on hand when they started. I sent 214,000. They spent 214,000 in that fiscal year and had $14,483 worth of expenses for FY23 that were paid in FY24. That's what that line item is for. And then here they had a grant that was deposited to their bed tax account at the very end of FY23. I believe it was in June of 2023, and then the funds were then moved to a private account after July 1st. So that is just a transfer of grant funds to a private account. Then that left $13,000 on hand, and they have $446 worth of bills for FY24 paid in FY25, and they committed $1,539 to their plan when they put it together in April and May, which then left $11,249 to allocate after the audit, then with their ending balance of 21 cents.
Thank you, Barbara. Welcome, Diane, to the meeting. We would love your comments and thoughts on your year and your audit.
Thank you and good morning to all. Really no comments, but happy to answer any questions and always appreciate Barb's help.
Thank you. Seeing a grant transfer is new to me, Diane. Can you help me out a little bit? Was that just money like accidentally put into account and then you passed it through, or what was that?
So that was a destination event grant well, a couple of years ago now, as Barb said. And when we run an event, we run that through a private fund because we have money coming in and money coming out, money coming in for sponsorships or vendor payments or whatnot, and money coming out. So after that grant funding was received, then it was transferred to that other account to complete the paying the invoices for the event.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, got it. Thank you. We just don't see that one very often.
Right.
So cool. Thank you to you and Barb for that explanation. Thank you. Does the council have any questions or comments for Diane? Hearing no discussion or comments for Diane, I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Kalispell DMO audit as submitted with 21 cents remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Brookie, so moved.
Thank you, Brookie.
Sabers, second.
Thank you, Saber. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the audit, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the FY24 Kalispell DMO audit is approved. Congratulations, Diane, and thank you. Did I say Kalispell DMO audit was approved? Yes. Any nods? Yes, thank you. Thank you, Saber and Joan. All right, we're moving on to Destination Missoula and Barb. Barb, please promote. I need a drink of tea. I'm getting a little tongue-tied. Please present the Destination Missoula FY24 audit. Barbara, please. I think we've got you muted again.
Thank you for that. I don't see that when I have the audit screen on, so my apologies. And again, Barb and Sage did a great job keeping the Destination Missoula records in order. I always appreciate their extra effort, and they do a great job. They also, well, they started with $176,000 on hand and were sent $504,000 and earned $2,500 in interest. They spent $551,613, and then they did spend down their balance to $132,000. 1,008 is committed to their FY24 projects, which leaves $131,328 remaining. That's been allocated to their FY25 budget.
Wonderful. Thank you, Barbara. Now, Barb, welcome to the
Hi,
meeting.
everybody.
It's nice to have you here. Do you
It's
have any
nice to be here.
Thank you. Do you have any comments or discussion for the council?
No, I just wanted to let you know that we actually have finalized our destination stewardship plan, which I'm very excited about. And this extra funding has actually come at a really good time to be able to allocate towards starting to do some of that work this year. We are going to be putting some of this money into a rebranding campaign that actually is centered around our destination stewardship plan and messaging. We're also working on a large installation at our brand new airport as it's finishing out. It's going to be a digital VIC wall, massive wall that's going to have multiple screens, kiosks, and phone lines, along with video capability and some really beautiful photography in it. And then the other piece that we're going to be doing is we've put money into research to be able to help with the branding, outreach, and analysis and data, excuse me, and then doing a resident sentiment survey again to follow up on what we did last year to keep in touch with our community around what we're doing.
Wonderful. Thank you, Barbara. That is very ambitious, and we're excited. You finished your stewardship plan, and that is no easy undertaking. Thank you. Does the council have any comments or discussion to be had with Barb for Destination Missoula? Hearing no questions or discussion, I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Destination Missoula audit as submitted with 48 cents remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Matt, so moved.
Matt, thank you.
Joan, second.
Joan, thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the audit, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the FY24 Destination Missoula audit is approved. Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate you. We are heading on to beautiful Red Lodge, Montana. Barb, please present the FY24 Red Lodge DMO audit.
Okay, well, Red Lodge. Sherry and Kobe were very helpful during the process and did a great job keeping the records in order. We did have a few items that we discussed, nothing that requires council action. They also spent down their funds, starting with 19,000 on hand. They were sent 45,608, spent 55,874, which then left 9,517 on hand. And then of which they allocated that to their FY25 plan, leaving 31 cents remaining in uncommitted funds on hand.
Thank you, Barb. Welcome, Sherry, to the meeting. We'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on your last year and your audit.
Hi, everyone. We're having a great year here. And I guess I'd just like to say that it's because we get these funds. I just appreciate the opportunity to get to market my town. And we really do work hard to make every penny count. And with that said, thank you again to Barb for all the help getting us through this process.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sherry. Does the council have any questions or comments for Sherry? Hearing no further discussion, I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Red Lodge DMO audit as submitted with 31 cents remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Joan, so moved.
Thank you, Joan.
Matt, a second.
Favors? Oh, nice.
Matt,
Well done,
thank
Matt.
you. And thank you, Saber, too, for chiming in. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the audit, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the FY24 Red Lodge DMO audit is approved. Congratulations, Sherry, and thank you. We're going up to Whitefish, to beautiful Whitefish. So all the state is beautiful. I could use that adjective in front of all of your DMOs. Sorry to those who have gone before you that I didn't use that adjective. All right, Barb, please present the FY24 Whitefish DMO audit.
Okay, I'm trying to get it to fit on one screen, but the mouse just doesn't want to cooperate.
Looking good.
Alrighty, well, Whitefish started with $72,471 on hand, received $258,557. They earned some interest, $500 of interest, and then they run their bills and invoices through their accounts payable. So I do have an accounts payable there amount, which just are invoices that are in queue, and all of them, let Julie mention that if she wants to or needs to. And then they did spend $328,606 in the fiscal year, which brings their balance down to $7,722. And of that amount, $6,800 is committed to their FY24 plan, which then left $893 remaining, which was committed to their FY25 budget, with 63 cents remaining.
Wonderful. Thank you, Barb. Julie, welcome.
Hi.
It's nice to have you joining us today. Would you like to have any comments or tell us about your year or your audit?
Well, I would like to say thank you to Barb quickly. We had some staff changing happening at the end of June into July, and she was able to put us to the front of the line to conduct this audit. So that willingness, Barb, it went a long way with us, and thank you so much. So we were able to complete the audit with our business manager intact. So thank you, thank you. We found that fiscal year 24 really marked the return to pre-COVID levels of tourism here in Whitefish, and it does really feel like we're busy, but it's more manageable. And some of the reworking of our strategic plan and focusing on stewardship and focusing on resident sentiment, things have really stabilized. So we're actually getting back to work and doing what we need to do rather than reacting to some of the I don't know, the negativity surrounding how our community has changed or did change during COVID. So things are really looking up here in Whitefish, and I appreciate the council's willingness to work with me and advise us on how to navigate some of the turbulent waters we've had here in Whitefish over the last 17 months of starting with the DMO.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julie. Those were beautiful insights. Thank you for sharing that. And that's good to hear. It's kind of like a little wiping the sweat off the brow, I think a little bit.
Yes,
Thank you.
a lot of sweat.
Very good. Does the council have any questions or comments for Julie? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Whitefish DMO audit as submitted with 63 cents remaining in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Joan, so moved.
Thank you, Joan.
This is Brookie, seconded.
Thank you, Brookie. It has been moved and seconded to approve the audit. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the audit, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the FY24 Whitefish GMO audit is approved. Congratulations, Julie. Thank you so much. Now we are headed east to beautiful Miles City. Barb, please present the FY24 Whitefish DMO audit. Sorry, I said Whitefish. Miles City, please. We are not going back. We're not giving Julie a heart attack at this at this moment. Hi, and Barb, please present the Miles City audit.
Thank you. Okay, Miles City. John and Bailey were helpful, very helpful during the process, and there were several items that we discussed. There's one item that is being brought for consideration at this time. And I'll go through this. And what happened was they hired an agency, 147 Consulting. They were paid $4,500 for marketing and social media. And then they were also hired later in that fiscal year they were paid $4,000 for the visitor guide, layout, and design. The regulations require bids be sought for agency services and goods over $5,000. In this instance, each project was under $5,000, but the combined total to one vendor was $9,500. The question then is, were bids needed to be sought because agency services exceeded the $5,000, or is it allowable because each project was under $5,000? My concern from a compliance and audit standpoint is that this then opens the door for possible abuse of that, in that projects could be bid out for $5,000 or less to the same agency over and over, thus then eliminating the need for bids. So in this instance, it was one vendor paid $9,500 were bids required. I outlined the language here. So for goods and services under 5,000, and then these are the requirements for a bid for services between 5,000 and 25,000. And then down here is the breakout of the audit, which I'll go through quickly, briefly. They did have $3,300 cash on hand. They were sent $54,480, of which they spent $58,289. They had an audit reimbursed from the previous year of $522, which then leaves $43.13 remaining in the cash on hand, and I did not ask them to allocate the $43.
Thank you, Barb. John, welcome to the meeting. Thank you for joining us. We welcome your comments.
I kind of feel like the little kid that always is picking his nose in the family Christmas photo. First of all, I want to thank Barb because this has been an incredibly odd summer, and she's been very, very patient and helpful. What ultimately happened was, it was my interpretation that when we're a little vendor poor over here and things, I looked at this as two different jobs, not one hiring of an agency. And they were done in, like Barb alluded to, in a separate time frame. Plain and simple, it's just we hired 147 to do some marketing and stuff. And then later on down the road, this person has great knowledge of our office and some of the things that we wanted to do. We had sat down and discussed the idea of a visitor's guide. They put forward what I thought was a good proposal, and came in a price at $4,000. So we hired them to do it. They did all the printing, quite a bit of the distribution and stuff. So I thought it was a great deal. And I visited with a few of the TAC members, and like I said, it was nothing that was done intentionally. I looked at it as two separate projects, and that's why you see the 4,500 and the 4. And again, I want to compliment Barb for keeping an open mind. This could have obviously been an action item, or however that she perceived it as. So we've had a lot of great discussion, and I'd be more than willing to answer any questions.
Thank you, John. Do we have comments from the council? Our council members present?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Joan.
It's Joan. John and I had a discussion about this, and the way it was explained, and reading the statute, I felt it was fine, because it was obviously two separate projects, and I didn't see anywhere where it says collectively, and that's just my opinion. So.
This is Saber, and I tend to agree with Joan. I completely understand only having a couple of vendors to choose from. So I can see this happening. Especially in Miles City, where this job happened, and then on down the line, there's another one. So thanks to both Joan and John for their explanations, but I see this one being okay.
Thank you both. I love your insights and expertise, and I guess it's just to be mindful of a precedent potentially being set where other DMOs, but again, it's the dollar value, and we don't, I think, in rules procedures say collectively in that. So I think Joan, as committee chair of rules and procedures, let's maybe think about this when we get together, see if we need changes, or it's just, we have gigantic DMOs with big budgets, and we have these smaller ones, and, we do our projects as they come about. But Barb, thank you for bringing this to our attention. John, thank you for being upfront and commenting on it. And I think really the crux here would be moving forward is like, collectively using one consulting company, right? As opposed to bidding it out, but all right, any other discussion? Great, hearing no further discussion. I don't have my motion here. I will entertain a motion for approval of the FY24 Miles City DMO as submitted with. Barb, can you go down on your screen? I need to see how, with $43.13 in uncommitted tax funds on hand.
This is Joan, so moved.
Joan, thank you.
This is
Saber?
Brookie, seconded.
Oh, Brookie, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. I will open it up for discussion. And Barb, I am really grateful for you bringing this to our attention. And as Saber and Joan mentioned, I don't think that there needs to be any punitive action, if anything, in our Rules and Procedures Committee. I think it's a good time for us just to chat about this. You know what I mean? Because that's what rules and procedures are for. So, and but I agree with both of you. Is there any further discussion?
Thank you for the clarification.
Hearing no further discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the budget, the audit, excuse me, let me restate that. There's no further discussion. All those in favor of approving the audit, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the FY24 Miles City DMO audit is approved. Thank you, John. Appreciate you. All right, we're up. Yep.
Excuse me, sorry, Alicia, I did see that, I did see a hand up here. Let's see.
It was me, Barb. Thank you. Alicia.
Hi, Mandy.
Hi, sorry. I just wanted to jump in and say, as you are looking at the rules, definitely would ask that either John Simmons, our chief legal, or Brenda Elias, who I believe is on this call right now, who's new to our legal team, is involved there to get their perspective on the state procurement rules, which are managed through Department of Administration. So as you guys are looking at updating those, would just plug that. That's all I had. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Mandy. We absolutely will.
Thank you, Mandy.
All right, I just want to make note of the agenda and the times on the agenda. Obviously, this was usually a full day meeting, and so we do look up at wrapping at 9, but I just want to make a comment that we are behind on our schedule, so please stay with us. This is an important meeting. Again, this is usually a 2 half-day meeting to accomplish this, and I'm working as fast as I can while keeping a pace, but this is an important meeting and I thank you all. We will just continue on with the agenda and the pacing that we have. And we have concluded the audits. And it is the next item of business for the approval of our DMO budget adjustments. So we're gonna move on with them. I think most of them we have heard from them. We've heard from everybody about kind of a little bit about what they are doing with this. And we're just gonna wash, rinse, repeat, and we're gonna do the same thing. So you're gonna hear me repeat the same thing, and we're just gonna move forward with this. Thank you, DMOs. Thank you everyone for your patience. Thank you, ITRR, Dr. Melissa, for your ITR update. Please stay with us and we will we will continue on and we will look forward to being done between the 11 and 12 o'clock hour. So an hour behind. All right, moving on to budgets, increases. Barb, please present the Missouri River Country DMO budget adjustment.
Okay. Okay, I'll do my best to get it to fit on the screen. All right, Missouri River Country is allocating their remaining funds from their audit for $56,746, which brings their budget from $126,911 to $183,657. And you can see where it's allocated there. The allocated following audit funds are not eligible for the 20% admin, just as an FYI for you. So you won't see admin being increased using audit funds.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification, Barb. Carla, welcome back.
Yes, thank you. So this 56,000 was very much welcomed into my FY25 budget. I'm able to do some trade shows now. Originally, I just put $1,000 in there for a placeholder, and so I put more money into that. Our paid media added to that, which is really gonna, help our paid media. So yeah, I kind of distributed where I felt it was necessary, and we will move forward with the extra funds and hopefully have a good year.
Great, thank you. Carla, does the council have any questions or discussion for Carla? Hearing no discussion, I will entertain a motion for approval of Missouri River Country to increase their FY25 budget by $56,746 using uncommitted funds from the audit. The total budget increase is $183,657.
This is Matt, so moved.
Thank you, Matt.
Saber, second.
Saber, thank you. There is it has been moved and seconded to approve the budget adjustment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the budget adjustment, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Missouri River Country FY25 budget has been approved. Barb, please present the Southeast Montana budget increase request.
Hey, Southeast Montana. They allocated, well, I'll start at the beginning, their revenue projection, 777,000. They allocated 180,000 of their remaining funds to their budget when they had it approved in June. And then they do have some rollover funds at Commerce available of $3,607, which is allowable for administration, for the 20% for administration. And then they have the 142,692 remaining from the audit. Their total increase is $146,299, which is the rollover and the allocated from audit funds, for then a total budget of $1,103,677. The rollover at Commerce funds are funds that are available that were collected in excess of the budget or the funds spent. So that means that Southeast Montana collected $3,607 more than was sent them in FY24.
Thank you, Barb. Brenda, welcome back. Sounds like the burger trail's a success.
Is
With all
anyone
that
hungry yet?
extra money. We would love any thoughts or comments you have on your
Yeah, I
budget.
won't go through this line by line. The 3 bullet points I would give you is that the majority of our allocation went to paid media to support, of course, paid media, but also our efforts in terms of excuse me, acquiring more assets, photo, video in particular. And then another section bunch went to joint ventures for a strategy to support our destination development projects that are collaborative, such as the Montana Dinosaur Trail, which will be 20 years old in 2025. And so, you know, looking for partnerships there, and the Montana Trail to the Stars. And of course, Montana's Great White Opens.
Good morning.
Just
How
as
are
a
you?
quick note, would
Wonderful,
like
thank you.
to-
What's up?
Oh, John, we can hear you. Just a quick note on those joint ventures. I really think that this effort for these to develop these destination development products is important, but equally important is the support of them, not just from the region and CBB level, but from the state level. Because we can build it, but we need to keep it in front and center. We have seen that with our burger trail. As soon as we, you know, back off the pedal a little bit on paid advertising, we definitely see a decrease in the activity of the burger trail. So just putting that out there for conversation, but thank you very much. I'm excited to implement all this work.
Thank you, Brenda, and thank you for those comments. Does the council have any questions or discussion with Brenda? Hearing no further discussion, I will entertain a motion for approval. Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh, my apologies, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Barb. I will entertain a motion for approval of the Visit Southeast Montana to increase their FY25 budget to $146,299 using $142,692 of uncommitted funds from the audit and $3,607 of rollover funds at Commerce. The total budget increases to $1,103,677.
This is Saber, so moved.
Thank you, Saber.
Pat, second.
Thank you, Matt. It has been moved and seconded to approve the budget adjustment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll proceed with the vote. Please unmute. All those in favor of approving the budget adjustment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Southeast Montana budget adjustment is approved. Thank you, Brenda. Yellowstone Country. Barb, please present the Yellowstone Country budget adjustment request.
Yellowstone Country budget started at $4 million. That's their revenue projection. And then Robin has $262,392 remaining from the audit, and that's been allocated to her budget to bring it to $4,262,392. You see.
Yep, thank you. Barbara, Robin, welcome back. Do you have
Yes,
any comments for us?
sure. As you can see, I put that 262,000 plus in a limited number of the allowable methods. Primarily, always we increase paid media because we have a lot of campaigns going year round. So, and joint ventures, of course. And then we are increasing our earned media tourism sales, just so that we can host more traditional travel media as well as influencers into the region. And then agency services, of course, more money means more work for the agency team. So that's why we increased that. I should probably note, given the earlier discussion with the admin funds, that typically those are not, you can't put the rollover, or I'm sorry, the uncommitted funds in. But Barb, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm able to do that because Yellowstone Country does not max out the amount that we allocate from the new revenue at the beginning, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, because in case anyone was wondering why from the earlier conversation that we're allowed to do that. As you can see over on the far side, even with the thing, we typically stay right in the 10% range of the allowable 20% for our admin allocation. So we try to keep a low overhead.
Thank you, Robin. Does the council have any discussion with Robin? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval of Yellowstone Country to increase their FY22 budget $262,392 using uncommitted funds from the audit. The total budget increases to $4,262,392.
This is Joan, so moved.
Thank you, Joan.
Brookie seconded.
Thank you, Brookie. It has been moved and seconded to approve the budget adjustment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the budget adjustment, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Yellowstone Country budget adjustment is approved. Thank you, Robin. Barb, please present the Visit Billings budget adjustment request.
Okay, Visit Billings. They have their budget at the revenue projected amount plus the increase in their allocated following the audit as shown above.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Barb. Allie, welcome back. We'd love to hear your comments, please.
Thank you. I don't really have any comments to add to that other than, again, that allocated following audit was put back into our paid media bucket.
Excellent. Thank you. Council members, is there any discussion for Allie? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval for Visit Billings to increase their FY24 budget $5,351 using uncommitted funds from the audit. The total budget increases to $541,541.
This is Saber, so moved.
Thank you, Saber.
This is Joan, second.
Thank you, Joan. It has been moved and seconded to approve the budget adjustment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, I will proceed with the vote. Please unmute. All those in favor of approving the budget adjustment, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Visit Billings budget adjustment is approved. Thank you, Ally. Moving on to Dylan.
Okay. Yep. Sure. Most of these, the rest of these are going to be basically the same story. Their revenue projection, $42,060. They're allocating their remaining funds from the audit, the $7,813.
Thank you very much. Rebecca, welcome back.
Sure.
Do you have any comments or discussion for us?
Yeah, this spreadsheet here just shows the increase in the website development. As I mentioned in my earlier comments, that we will be refreshing the Visit Dylan website.
Great.
This fall and winter. So, so the extra monies that we receive will go to that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rebecca. Does the council have any comments or discussion for Rebecca? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval of the Dylan. Hang on, I'm going to start over. I will entertain a motion for approval for the Dylan DMO to increase their FY27 budget to $7,813 using uncommitted funds from the audit. The total budget increases to $49,873.
This is Matt, so moved.
Thank you, Matt.
Brookie seconded.
Thank you, Brookie. It has been moved and seconded to approve the budget adjustment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, please unmute. All those in favor of approving the budget adjustment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Dylan DMO budget adjustment is approved. Thank you, Rebecca. Moving on to Great Falls. Barb, please present their budget adjustment report.
Sure. Great Falls, also again, budgeted their budget using their projected revenue at $215,524. They have $59,501 remaining, and it looks like, I believe, as Rebecca mentioned, she put it into their paid media, and then that brings their budget up to $275,025.
Great, thank you. Rebecca, welcome back. Do you have any other comments for the council?
No additional comments. Pretty straightforward.
Thank you. Council, do you have any discussion or comments for Rebecca? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval for the Great Falls DMO to increase their FY25 budget $59,501 using uncommitted funds from the audit. The total budget increases to $275,025.
This is Joan, so moved.
Thank you, Joan.
Brookie seconded.
Thank you, Brookie. It has been moved and seconded to approve the budget adjustments. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will proceed to the vote. All in favor of approving the budget adjustment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Great Falls DMO budget adjustment is approved. Thank you, Rebecca. Barb, please present the Kalispell DMO budget adjustment request.
Okay, Kalispell. They, for their budget, use their projected revenue at $233,461. They also used $1,539 of funds of FY24 funds that aren't going to be spent. Then they have $11,249 remaining from their audit that was allocated as above, bringing the total to $246,249.
Wonderful. Thank you, Barb. Diane, welcome back.
Thank
Do you
you.
have any comments or discussion for us?
I think that where we allocated the money is pretty self-explanatory, but I'm certainly happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, council. Do you have any discussion for Diane? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval for the Kalispell DMO to increase their FY25 budget $11,249 using uncommitted funds from the audit. The total budget increases to $246,249.
This is Matt, so moved.
Matt, thank you.
Saber, second.
Thank you, Saber. It has been moved and seconded to approve the budget adjustment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, please unmute and I will proceed with the vote. All in favor of approving the budget adjustment, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Kalispell DMO budget adjustment is approved. Thank you, Diane. Moving on to Missoula. Barb, please present the Destination Missoula budget adjustment.
Sure. Okay, Missoula, their projected revenue is $481,809, which is their approved budget that was approved in June. Then they have $131,328 that were remaining from the audit and budgeted as shown above, bringing their budget to $613,137.
Thank you very much. Barb, do you have the other Barb from Missoula? Do you have any other discussion for us?
I really don't. I kind of ran through kind of the highlights, sorry, in our other part. But I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Great, thank you, council. Do you have any discussion for Barbara of Missoula? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval for Destination Missoula to increase their FY25 budget $131,328 using uncommitted funds from the audit. The total budget increases to $613,137.
This is
I'm so moved.
moved.
Oh, sorry, sorry, Brookie.
So Brookie, thank you for your first. Is there a second?
This is Joan, I'll second.
Thank you. I appreciate the council's enthusiasm as we are wrapping up all of our voting and motions for this part as we kind of get done. Hearing it has been moved and seconded to approve the budget adjustment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, I will proceed with the vote. Please unmute. All those in favor of approving the budget adjustment, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Destination Missoula budget adjustment is approved. Thank you, Barb. Red Lodge. Barb, please present the Red Lodge DMO budget adjustment request.
Sure. Red Lodge had a revenue projection of $51,400, which they budgeted and was approved in June. Then they have $9,517 remaining following the audit, allocated as above, bringing their total budget to $60,917.
Nice, thank you. Sherry, welcome back. Do you have any discussion for the council or any comments for the council?
Not really, other than to say it's always nice to add to the budget. It's great to see everyone's numbers increasing.
Here
Thank you.
to that. There have been years where money's had to be removed, and that is always sad. So thank you, Sherry. Yes, that is a beautiful thing. Council, do you have any discussion with Sherry? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval for the Red Lodge DMO to increase their FY25 budget $9,517 using uncommitted funds from the audit. The total budget increases to $60,917.
This is Matt, so moved.
Matt, thank you.
Saber, second.
Thank you, Saber. It has been moved and seconded for approval. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will proceed with a vote. Please unmute. All those in favor of approving the budget adjustment, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Red Lodge DMO budget adjustment is approved. Thank you, Sherry. Back up to Whitefish. Barb, please present the Whitefish DMO budget adjustment.
Okay. And I do want to mention that after this one, if we do want to still consider the Columbia Falls, which was
we do.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. So Whitefish, their projection 266,000. And then they allocated their remaining $893, looks like, into opportunity.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, to $266,893.
Thank you. Julie, do you have any comments?
No, not really. It's
Okay.
yeah, self-explanatory.
Thank you. Council, do you have any discussion for Julie? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval for the Whitefish DMO to increase their FY25 budget $893 using uncommitted funds from the audit. The total budget increases to $266,893.
This is Joan, so moved.
Thank you, Joan.
Saber, second.
Saber, thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the budget adjustment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will proceed with the vote. Please unmute. All those in favor of approving the budget adjustment, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Whitefish DMO budget adjustment is approved. Thank you, Julie. We have one more, Council. Hang in there with me. Barb, please present the Columbia Falls DMO budget adjustment request.
Okay, and thank you for your consideration with this. Their projection is $38,961 with $4,970 remaining in uncommitted from the audit, allocated as above to bring their total budget to $43,931.
Thank you. Welcome back. Do you have any comments for us, Laura?
Yeah, I was just gonna note, I split it up, sorry. We want to do a resident sentiment. That's one of our goals this year. And I'm hoping that maybe I can coordinate with some of our local DMOs in Glacier Country on possible joint venture options. So that's why I added that line item. It does match our plan that was already in there, but I did want to put some of that towards a joint venture, as well as that education outreach piece for that survey.
Nice, wonderful. Thank you, Laura. And again, it's nice to have you have more, have the money. So, council, do you have any discussion with Laura? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval of the Columbia Falls DMO to increase their FY25 budget $4,970 using funds allocated following the audit. The total budget increase to $43,931. Barb, did I get that right?
Exactly, thank you.
Woo, I winged that. So, do we have a first?
This is Matt, so moved.
Thank you, Matt.
Brookie seconded.
Thank you, Brookie. It has been moved and seconded to approve the budget adjustment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will proceed with the vote. Please unmute. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Are there any abstentions? The motion carries and the Columbia Falls DMO budget adjustment is approved. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
We need to move on to the nominating committee, but I don't know about any other members, but I need a brief comfort break. May we please pause for 5 minutes and resume at 10:16, please. So I'm going to mute myself and hide my camera. Let's convene back at 10:16, 10:17, right in there. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for continuing on with us. Thank you. We'll be right back in 5 minutes. All right, it is 10:17. Just doing a quick check to see if we have everyone back with us. If not, happy to wait another minute. Great, thank you, Joan. Matt, if you can just give us a grumble, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, Saber, are you and Brookie, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. I couldn't tell if Saber was in their collections area or if she was in her little vault. Her office is literally in a vault. It's hilarious. Just give a second and wait for Saber to give us a thumbs up or let us know she's back. Thank you for that comfort break. I'll do a little plug to get through all of this talking. We had our last meeting in Billings and the council was given Visit Billings swag. So thank you to Allie and Alex for the swag. You are hydrating me through this meeting, giving props to the swag. Thank you, Visit Billings, for that. Allie, cheers. She just commented in the comments that she's drinking out of the exact same cup. Cheers. Wonderful. Mine is mint tea with that. All right, Saber, might you be back with us? Thank you, Barb. I see you. Thank you. All right, well, I don't want to proceed without her. All right. All right, so Seaber, might you be there? We've got everybody else. All right, for the sake of time, we do have a quorum. I know Saber will adjust us, will join us. We're gonna move on to the nominating committee. This October meeting is, every year, the council votes to elect their chair and vice chair. And so we've come up to that October meeting. And it's been my complete pleasure to serve as your chair for the last 2 years, a vice chair before that, and an active council member before that. I'm in my 5th of 6 years, and I've loved every moment on this council. Coming into this meeting, we had the nominating committee had been anticipating that Mike Johnson be reappointed. He had stepped up and volunteered to assume the role of chair. And Joan had wonderfully stepped up to volunteer to be nominated to be vice chair. And easy peasy for me. Happy have 1 year left as a mentor, but it's time. It's time that the council have new leadership and new direction and new thoughts, or continuing on the way it is. You know, earlier in the meeting, I kind of briefly summarized our role, and it's an important one. And so although we need to pivot and we need to look at you all to assume the leadership, I, as the only kind of person left on the nominating committee, I do not have a slate to bring to you, except Joan has offered to continue to, hopefully, unless you've changed your mind, Joan, between now and recently, to be vice chair, to be nominated, but we are looking for a chair. I would like to step down as chair. I have loved my time here, but I am looking for one of you to step up and be willing to be chair of this important governor-appointed committee that is appointed for our excellence to show and guide the state and the DMOs. So I am just going to open up for discussion, seeing that I'm going to let Joan talk, and then I would like to hear, if I could, from each one of you. Brookie, I'm not putting you on the spot, seeing that you've been technically on the council for 2 hours and 23 minutes. But I'd love your input as well. If you're willing to serve, we would completely take it. So council, please, let's discuss our leadership moving forward.
Alicia, it's Joan. I still wish to be considered as vice chair. I don't feel that I have the knowledge to be chair of TAC. So with that said, those are my wishes.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you. Matt, I know you have a hard time speaking. Might you have any thoughts, and Saber too, you might be willing to share or put in the chat for us? I get it, Matt, if you can't talk.
I'm sorry, I just got back. What did you just say?
Yeah, Saber, great, thank you. Yeah, so we're at the nominating committee part, Saber, and I was just expressing what an honor it's been to serve as chair, and prior to that, vice chair, and prior to that, an active committee member. But I'm not wanting to be put up to be nominated to continue on as chair. And again, I was explaining to the council and the audience that Mike Johnson had volunteered, and we were all anticipating and hoping that he would be reappointed, and he wasn't. So that's left a hole being nominated for chair. And Joan has stepped up to be nominated to be vice chair. So I was just looking for the council to comment on who they would like to nominate to be chair of the council. As again, I'm happy to stay in a mentor role, an active mentor role from my last year on the council, but looking for the council to step up and have new leadership. So so Joan had just commented on that she was still interested on being vice chair. So then that was just opening up to hopefully you and Matt to make a comment about who should be chair, or who we should think about nominating for chair. I mean, by absence, we can just elect Paul, but you know, for the sake of it, but I think we have to have his agreement to that. So I will let you and Matt speak, and also Matt, because he can't talk very well, I'll read his comments he just put in. So as a new member, yep, you've been on for a year. This is Matt. Do not feel I have the time or bandwidth to serve as chair of the TAC. I know that's disappointing, but it's not the right time for me personally. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for those comments.
Saber here. We're in the middle of a multi-million-dollar campaign for the museum renovation and expansion, and it has taken a lot of my bandwidth. There's also some personal family issues going on in my life, so I don't feel that I have the bandwidth either. If Paul says no, I will take it. However, I will not be seeking reappointment next year, so just a heads up on that as well. So if I were to serve as chair, it would not be for very long.
Thank you, Saber.
Could I jump in, Alicia? This is Mandy Rambo.
Would love that, Mandy. Yes, please do jump in.
So with us having 4 vacant positions, I'm wondering, I realized that the TAC guidelines and rules do say that we vote in October, but because we have Paul working an expired term, I wouldn't recommend that we put him into a leadership position, knowing that there is a possibility or a likelihood that he would not be reappointed and we'd be back to square one. So my suggestion, or I guess my question for the TAC would be, do we wait until February and I can work with the governor's office to get some, if not all, of these vacancies filled prior to that meeting? We thought we were down to 3, as you mentioned earlier this morning. We now have a 4th opening, but wondering if that is something that we would want to look at.
Thank you, Mandy, for your comments.
This is Joan. Mandy, thank you for that possible temporary solution. I would be in favor of that.
And Mandy, I'm looking at the bylaws, and for election of officers, it says at the last meeting of the fiscal year, the council shall elect a chair and vice chair. And our February meeting, well, actually, I guess our June meeting is the last of the fiscal year, but I believe that gives wiggle room to postpone that for now, based on what I'm looking at in the bylaws.
Yeah, I did not realize it said fiscal year. I thought it said calendar year, which is why it was October. But either way, I would say we can't nominate someone who's not willing to do it. And if we don't have someone who's willing to jump in, I would say then it makes more sense to push it to the February meeting if the it would have to be an action item that the council votes on, though.
And I hear all your comments. And with all your comments, you're assuming I have the bandwidth to continue on as chair, having served dutifully for numerous years in your leadership through 2 of the most difficult years of my life, having lost my husband during this time. It would be very encouraging to see council members step up and assume a leadership role. No volunteer has the bandwidth for this and the amount of work it takes, and I respect you all.
Alicia, I will just jump in again and say, I understand, I understand what you are saying. And, you know, I think to be clear, my heart goes out to you. I know that this has not been an easy time for you. I think if you are wanting to step down and Joan is willing to take a vice chair role, we could take that action today, vote in a vice chair, not have a chair. And the vice chair would then lead the February meeting and we could have a full vote at that point in time. So that is, I guess, another option that I could put onto the table for the TAC to consider for action.
Mandy, is it possible to have co-chairs? And if Saber would be willing, we could venture down this road together.
The bylaws do not speak to co-chairs. We could, so I think we would have to look at adopting an updated bylaws again, because that wasn't publicly noticed for this meeting. That would have to occur in the February meeting, or we could call an emergency meeting, which we would have to publicly notice for at least the 2 working days prior to having that meeting, and then make the change to those bylaws to allow for co-chairs. So I think that is an option, but not without a change to the actual bylaws.
Thank you.
I can take it for now. And respectfully will not be continuing after June 30th, but just so people know that I can take chair with, of course, Alicia's offer of mentorship and with Joan's very strong vice chair abilities. Yeah, I can't even, I don't think I can even chair another committee at this point, but I can certainly lead meetings and do that side of things. That's no problem.
Thank you, Saber. Happy to mentor Joan. Thank you both. It does show, though, the future of the council for Matt, you, and Brookie. I don't know about you, Joan, but as well with Saber, I will not be reapplying to be on the council again. I've loved it. Absolutely been an honor to be appointed, but just to let the council know that come I think the council always interpreted it as calendar year too, as Mandy did. So we always did it at the October meeting, but you'll have till February. But also coming this February, you won't have any more executive leadership after June 30th. So we might want to consider us getting you Saber temporarily as chair, Joan as vice chair, and then looking at having an election in February. And I know you all are new, but you won't have executive leadership really after that meeting. And well, after the 30th, but it'll be a time to do that. So I guess this is good discussion, you know, and I thank you, Saber. Joan, happy to mentor, happy to be part of the executive committee if you would like me to be and guide, but thank you. Thank you both. Brookie, yes.
Yes, Alicia, can I just ask a question?
Of course.
What is your process for building the council? I mean, obviously you've got open seats and we've got to go to work on this, but I don't understand the process.
Yes, so we look with whatever open seats have been. Brookie, over the last few years, we've gone from a council of about 19 to 20, maybe up to 21 at one time. Just recently in this last year down to no more than 9. So there used to be a gallant amount of council members that filled a number of committees, and it's really just been recently that we've become a smaller. And you know, a lot of it has to do with the governor's red tape initiative, and a lot of that, you know, I agree with, you know, a lot of that red tape initiative, but it has put a burden of doing the same amount of work onto fewer and fewer volunteers. And I think that's the unintended consequences sometimes of those, you know, well-intended initiatives, right? And Barb does her best job at the office supporting us all. We are administratively tied. So we do have administrative help and really, since we've gone to a smaller council, we've really done away with the marketing committee because the marketing committee has no power anymore. We used to thought we could approve budgets and we were wrong. There's no reason for us to go through approving audits and budgets when we have to do it as the full council. So that responsibility's gone away. But as far as getting new members, the Department of Commerce and Mandy and the governor help. Our regions and DMOs and CVBs, if there's a hole in their area, they reach out. Usually they might have a board member or someone who is engaged, just like you did, you know, Brookie. And then as council members, we go to our networks too and see who would be a good member. It was, excuse me, just in this last legislative year, year and a half ago, that the council was taken down to no more than 9. So there's a rep from each region. There's an at-large, as Mandy mentioned. There is a tribal government position, and then a tribal representative. And Mandy, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in and say there is not a standard process for how members are selected, but exactly what Alicia has already said, that if there is an opening in a region, the tourism region's leadership can definitely suggest someone to either the department or the governor's office. The department works actively. I know, Brookie, one of our staff reached out to you to gauge your interest before you applied. And then I work with the governor's office when I receive names from any of the stakeholders, whether they're department employees, TAC members, or others.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Brookie.
What was the reason for scaling down the size of the TAC?
I can answer that if you'd like, Alicia.
Please, yes, thank you.
Yeah, so when the Gianforte administration took office, they looked at the sheer number of volunteer boards and commissions. And I don't know the number off the top of my head, so I apologize. But it was greater than 500, I think less than 1,000 total boards across the enterprise. And then again, the sheer scale of managing upwards of 20 members for the Tourism Advisory Council. So the governor created the Red Tape Relief Commission, which is led by Lieutenant Governor Juris. And agencies were asked to dig into what we call attached to boards and commissions, of which the Tourism Advisory Council is one of 10 the Department of Commerce manages, and to look for ways to streamline some of those processes, including reducing numbers of members, and or reducing or removing those boards or commissions just as a whole. With the amount of bed tax that comes in to the Department of Commerce specifically, but comes into the state as a whole, we did not feel like removing the Tourism Advisory Council generally was the right call. And so instead proposed the reduction to a set number of Tourism Advisory Council members. I will be pretty transparent that change occurred while I was the HR manager at Commerce prior to me being in this role. So I was not involved in what that legislation looks like, but I do just know the history and the background of why that reduction came to be. And I would share that it was not specific to the Tourism Advisory Council or even specific to attached boards or commissions just for Commerce. This was done across the board, and there were dozens of attached boards, commissions, or councils, which were actually just removed completely, and the workload was put back onto the departments.
Thank you, Mandy. Okay. I will entertain a motion to elect Dr. Saber Moore as chair of the Tourism Advisory Council and Joan Cronenbusch as vice chair of the Tourism Advisory Council moving forward. Is there a first?
I'll
And
make that motion.
Thank you, Joan. I was just going to say, I do believe that Joan and Saber cannot make or second these motions because it is voting for them. So sorry to be.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Mandy. Yes. So
Brookie, I'll second.
Thank you. Wait, Brookie, do you mind making
Motion.
a first?
Oh, okay. I so move.
Thank you, Brookie. Matt, do you have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you, as I can't either, as the one making the motion. So we have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Call for a question?
Not quite yet. We have discussion.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Thank you. We just have to have more discussion, and I'm loving the comments I'm seeing from the DMOs and Saber, and thank you all so much. And I just want to go on record that we do need the leadership who is going to continue on in this council to step up at the February meeting to be chair and vice chair. You need to jump in with both feet. You wouldn't have been appointed had you not had expertise. We have so many vacant positions, and the DMOs need us. The Department of Commerce needs us. Mandy is fantastic to work with. Everyone is fantastic to work with. And it would be a sad day for the state of the tourism industry if we don't have appointed council members continuing on, stepping up and jumping in Do you think I didn't make mistakes and I didn't follow Robert's rules of orders? And, you know, it's just, you do your best, but the DMOs need us. They need you. And I would hate to see this council go away and to give the governor any reason to have this council go away because no one was willing to step up. So thank you, Saber. Thank you, Joan. I will be there for you. And we will get us through to the February meeting where we will hold and put on the agenda to hold an election for officers. Seeing it as technically the end of the fiscal year, but this was a very important conversation to have. Thank you, and thank you, Mandy. And please thank the governor in advance, and I thank you for helping us to fill those positions. DMOs, we need help for Carla. We need a representative for her. And we need Indian country. We need tribal tourism help. That tribal government position has been vacant 5 years now. And we, for whatever reason, can't find someone to step up. So tribal tourism, if you're listening in, please help us, you know, or help us reach out to people. So thank you. Thank you, DMOs, for your love and your comments. Okay, so moving on to committee signups, the Rules and Procedures Committee is typically taken on by the vice chair. Thank you, Joan, for continuing on with that. Heritage, I know, Saber, if you don't mind just continuing that till February and we'll appoint someone then.
And I'm happy to continue with Heritage through the end of
Okay.
my.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Saber. Tribal tourism. Is anybody on the currently here, Matt or Brookie, that I don't know that could help out with tribal tourism, or that will just committee will just sit vacant until we have someone to fill in. And legislative is currently run by the chair. I will tag team with that with you, Saber, and Joan on that. The three of us can just tag team that, unless Matt or Brookie, if you have intimate knowledge of the legislature and would like to just give the council random emails about what's going on, that would be helpful too. We're just looking for someone to kind of help keep us in the know of anything that's affecting the bed tax or tourism is really all that's required. You're not having to go on record or anything, just keep us in the know of what's happening. Or if there's hearings or things like that. That's all that committee really is.
Okay, I wish I'd gotten my feet a little more wet before this meeting.
That's okay. Usually the Montana Hotel Lodging Association has a great page where they update things. I don't know if with their new executive director, if they'll do that, but if so, I'm happy to share a link to that and maybe look at that and send updates. But those are really kind of our standing committees. We don't really have any ad hoc ones except a nominating committee. I reached out to everyone except you, Brookie, this year and didn't hear back from anybody. So hopefully between now and then, the council members who are new or newish will step up so we have leadership at the February meeting. All right, Dr. Melissa Waddell, did I say that right? You are up from ITRR, and thank you for your grace of waiting way longer for your presentation and your update from us. After Melissa, we just have a little bit more of TAC business, so TAC members, please stay on. We're going to talk about upcoming future communication strategies and upcoming meetings.
Excuse me, Alicia?
Yeah.
Do we have a motion on?
Oh, wait, we do.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So is there any further discussion of nominating Saber as chair and Joan as vice chair of the Tourism Advisory Council through February meeting of 2025? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. Please unmute. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, excuse me. We have comment. I'm going to withdraw that. Thank you, Brooke. I'm going to withdraw that call for the vote. Robin Hoover, you have the floor.
Sorry, I think that was an accident. I was not trying to talk.
Oh.
Sorry, everyone.
Thank you for the hand raise. We welcome any comments. So
I was tapping buttons and accidentally hit that one, obviously.
We all do it. Thank you. All right, I will call for the vote again. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you so much. The motion is passed. Congratulations, Saber and Joan. If you don't mind, I'll continue chairing the meeting, if that's okay with both of you. I've got my Visit Billings mug and we'll stay hydrated. All right, Dr. Melissa from ITRR. This is always the meeting. October meeting is you give us updates. So, but again, congratulations, Saber. Congratulations, Joan. I'll be in touch soon. Weekend with Barb Sano. All right, Melissa, welcome.
Good
We
morning.
hand the meeting over to you.
Good morning. Thank you. I assume you can hear me, and I did want to ask Barb if there's any way I can possibly share my screen. We have a presentation to share.
Okay, go ahead, Melissa, and try. Can you?
Did you move over to the panelist? What? Did you move over to the panelist?
Barb, I think you need to make her a host, not just a panelist. Panelists can't share their screens, but hosts can.
Melissa, who's up at the top. Okay, we're working on. Okay. Okay.
She should be rejoining and then she should be okay.
Okay, can you try it now?
We'll have to wait for her to get back in.
Okay.
I think it's going to work. Give me a second.
Thanks for that, because I did not know.
I think you all can see it if I'm right.
Yes, yes, we can. Thank you, Melissa.
Great. First, I want to thank you, Alicia, and all the work you've done. For us at ITRR, I just want to share how valuable the TAC is in guiding our research. And something that I hold close to my heart is that we spend taxpayer dollars. And it is critical in order to do that, that we need a community of people across Montana that participate, that are engaged, and help guide us in the research that we deliver so everyone can get the data they need and make the best decisions possible. And so this committee is so valuable to us. And I appreciate the work you've done, the work members who are off the committee now have done, and I welcome the new members. Feel free to reach out to us at any time, and we're happy to share more about the work we do. I also want to share a brief moment that I had speaking to an undergraduate student recently. Sometimes they stop you in your tracks, especially a younger generation, and ask you questions that you have a hard time explaining. We had a student recently graduate from our undergrad. We were at a conference and there were all kinds of committees up there, and there happened to be a committee that planned the conference. And this is a student that comes from a lower socioeconomic status. She also lived out of her car in college. She lived out of her car with her mother in high school. And she asked me, she said, "Do people volunteer on these committees?" And I said, yes, because that has been standard operating practice. And she said, no one gets paid. And I said, no. And then I had to unpack that, and it didn't go well because I could not explain and justify to her why so many committees, and I would say this is how the university system is built too, on committees and work. And when we look at how we recruit members, I often think, how can we repackage this in different ways and make it available? And so when we talk about Indian country and we look at those things, when people have to volunteer an enormous amount of their time, how can we reframe what this looks like? So I'm just dropping that nugget in there that happened to me in the past year. And it has set with me to rethink all the times that we do things to volunteer, and what a privilege it is that many of us can do that. So again, thank you so much, Alicia and the TAC. And with that, I want to share, I'm so excited to present this kind of research update and what we do. And it has been updated to me that you can see my, let me see. You can see the screen where I have my notes. The good news, I don't really have any notes. Some of you that know me, I speak from. Well, Megan, it just might have to be that. So I don't know. Let me try sharing again. We'll just move on. You'll kind of see this because I think I need 3 screens over 2. Anyway, I will roll through this. And especially for some of our new members and our new folks across the state, I'll give some brief introductions on who we are. As I mentioned, my name is Melissa Weddle. I'm the director of ITRR. We get a small % of the lodging tax to conduct research across the state. Many states have institutes like this, although they're funded very differently. And we are not extension, which makes us a little bit unique. So I'm going to introduce our folks, give some updates, talk about where we are, project progress, and some of our impacts. We have a few new folks that are joining us, some familiar faces for you. One thing I want to share is that not all of our people are 100% employed with ITRR. We share people with the university. So for example, I'm a professor, Alina's a professor, we teach, sometimes we teach more, we teach less. I will share, Alina led a class to Yellowstone and I led a camping trip to Glacier, and all of our students came back alive. This is very exciting for us. So we do things like that too. I'll also share, we have a new social scientist, Kika Bradford. She is actually in Atlanta at the National Recreation Park Association conference, and she won the Best Paper and Dissertation Award for the whole nation. So we are very excited and proud to have her. Glenna Tawney, some of you have already met. She's our research project director, extremely helpful in keeping us all organized. And we do have 2 new graduate students. Again, feel free to reach out to us anytime. Something that we have done over the past year is strengthen our commitment to research, and that happens in a few different ways. One of that was looking at our mission and thinking if our mission really aligned with what we do. We are here to conduct rigorous and impartial research that empowers the tourism and recreation industries in Montana. That guides a lot of decision-making for various stakeholders across the state. But we want you to know that we're committed to the highest academic integrity, and we ensure transparency and excellence in all our research efforts. In addition, we looked at our core values, and you can kind of see those, this commitment to excellence in research, innovation, looking at different methodology. A lot of us are knee-deep in big data and AI. Some of that works really well. Some of it doesn't, has a lot of limitations. You all know we intercept people across the state, and we find that to continuously be the best resource for much of our information. We work within the university system, so that holds us to a much higher rigor of academic integrity and transparency. We engage and prepare future leaders. We have many students that work with us. And so we're always excited about training that next generation. We collaborate, engage with the community. That has been something we've worked harder on, and I'll talk a little bit about those impacts. Supporting you all out in your destinations, and then being a leader in applied research across the country. There are many research institutes like this, and it is our goal to always lead that way. So for those of you that are new, we were established in 1987, very forward thinking of Montana. We are funded by a small portion of the lodging tax, and we provide objective and impartial research. You can see our cycle, and this is how we work with the TAC and why the TAC is so important to us. Right now, we have a call for projects out. We have sent that out in our email, in our listserv. I will say something that's been really challenging for ITRR is that when we are looking at being under the university umbrella, we can't get MailChimp. We have trouble kind of getting information out. So please feel free to share this, forward the emails, share with your stakeholders and constituents. We look for research projects. And so right now we're in that cycle of a call for projects with our goal to be able to review that and have that for the February TAC meeting. Things that are ongoing that we do every year, no matter what, is our quarterly non-resident analysis. We always survey residents in the fourth quarter. We've been asking the same question since 1992. It's amazing as a researcher to have all that data. We do the annual economic impacts outlook, tourism and recreation monitoring. We assist the state parks in counting all their visitors and putting out that report every year. And then we also do survey kits, which is wildly popular with y'all. We charge between $500 and $800, kind of depends on the survey methodology. But as you all know, we go out and assist communities. They get volunteers. They can use iPads, paper surveys. We do the data entry analysis in the reports. You can see the 5 survey kits that we did this year for 2024. So that is always a great service that we provide. Our quarterly non-resident research has been ongoing since July of 2009. We intercept visitors at neutral locations. We have 10 surveyors across all the tourism regions. And this is the way that we collect information for all of our economic impacts, how many visitors come. We also have a much larger system in which we do this, looking at DOT counts, Montana airport and deboardings, Canadian bordering crossings. So this is a much larger system that we use to count. You can see all of our different collection territories there. Something we're real excited about. I want to thank you all for stakeholder feedback. We are creating new dashboards and they're here to serve you. So please give us feedback. We hope to roll those out in the next few weeks. In addition, you'll see the dashboards are going to be faster. They're going to be more simple. We know a lot of you like our legacy dashboards. The platform that creates that can no longer be updated. And so we're kind of creating this new system. It's more simple, it's easier, it's faster, but what you might not see is the same complexities as before. So we have included a link on our website that you can request data specific for your region or county or something you're looking for. So reach out to us, we'll be checking those and let us know what you're looking for. As you know, this creates things like our infographic looking at the travel industry. Our annual report is hot off the press too. We're really excited about that. So thinking about ways that we communicate and outreach to the community. Something else we've incorporated is all of our TAC annual projects. We have listening sessions for. We have over 300 folks across Montana and sometimes outside of Montana that register for our listening sessions. That's where you can come learn about us, learn about the research project, give us your feedback. It's been great in helping us scope projects. So we do that at the beginning. It's critical for us to be transparent and get feedback from you. Many of you know we have the Montana Outdoor Recreation Summit We also have an outdoor recreation resource website now. We have so many of our communities part of the pilot grant and SB 540. So we're trying to create this space where you can come at any time and find different resources. Our online publication and dashboard is available 24/7. This is us being held to a different standard in an academic community. And a few things here I've already mentioned. So what can you find we're working on? We have, you'll see the University of Montana has a new website. We're not really in control of that. Some of you understand that umbrella. So if you hop on and see something, let us know. If a link doesn't work, Rachel, our comms director, is always improving that. You can go and see the different projects that we work on, click on them, learn more. This is our past and our future. We are on that fiscal cycle that's a little unusual for research because, as you know, we have about 4 months in the summer that we can conduct research if we're actually intercepting visitors. And so what's happening right now is all these reports within the next 2 months are going to come out, but we have spent most of the summer in the field working. You can see the different projects we're wrapping up, and then the projects that are upcoming. I would love to give more of an update, but we're really short on time, so I'm going to move through this. But I'm always happy to answer any questions with this. If we look at some of our research impacts, we have had over 16,000 annual downloads of our reports this year. That's up from 1,000, super impressive. We started working, it's a program called ScholarWorks that all universities across the country publish their work. We have had over 110,000 downloads since 2014. In 2020, I think that's supposed to say 2023, we surveyed over 10,000 non-residents and 18,000 residents. Remember that I call it the Beaver Roadshow. It is the Bureau of Business and Economic Research. It is the Winter Economic Summit where we travel to 9 cities. I want to share with you that Pat Barkey is retiring after this year and just hired someone new. I'll get to meet with him coming up in a few weeks, and he will be replacing Pat, but we'll all be on the roadshow for the spring. And we get to speak to over 5,000 Montanans, and I get a 20-minute presentation. I get to see many of you in the community and share all the good work we do. Also, we're working with Commerce, with the rural community, giving support to the pilot grants. I'm so thankful for Commerce. And then also the Montana Nonprofit Association. So things we're working to help with is kind of like a survey kit, like pre-post on these rural communities and the impact. I will share that I've worked in a lot of rural communities in coal country, and something that's not done well is a pre-post. We know that when you start, there's lots of business space open for lease, maybe not a lot of crowds, and then 5 years later, business is bustling, and we always think, why didn't we measure that? And so we're excited to assist with that. Also, you all know we put out the infographic, our annual report. Dax has done a great job with Voices of Tourism, kind of spreading that and giving those infographics out. If you ever need any, we're happy to mail those to you. We also work with the National Park Service on socioeconomic monitoring. We're one of the few universities that are selected to do this. Every 5 years, the National Park Service surveys kind of randomly parks across the country. And so we post this on our LinkedIn page and our social media accounts. This is where we hire a lot of students. And it's a really fun job and process to get them out there. You can see where we were this summer. It's funny because at some of these parks, Fort Frederica, I had never heard of, or Point Reyes, I had never heard of, and beautiful parks. Carter went to Indiana Dunes and he said it was amazing. And I shared with him, being from Indiana, that is not what the rest of Indiana looks like. So nonetheless, we're always excited to be part of that project, and it shows we're a national leader in research. Something I want to wrap up, at the Outdoor Rec Summit, it was important for us to continue the conversation. And so our goal is to have another outdoor recreation summit in the fall of 2025, but to continue the conversations, and I think this works well with the pilot community grant, is looking at celebrating success stories around the state. So how have people stacked grants? How have they involved their communities? How have they used outdoor recreation as a way to boost their economy? Whatever that looks like. And so this series will be announced next week. We're finding all of our different speakers, but real excited that that's just gonna, each month, it'll be kind of like a brown bag lunch. You can register, come in, hear about what's happening. So I try to go through that quickly. I'd like to know if there are any questions for us. And I'm going to try to stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, Melissa. That's impressive. Thank you so much. Council, do we have any questions? Looks like we have the ITRR crew with us. Hello, everyone. Thank you for all of your hard work. We very much appreciate you, and a lot of decisions we make are based on your research, and so are all of our industry partners. Council, do we have any questions for Melissa and her team?
I don't have any questions, but I would just like to thank Melissa and her team for their work. I talk to them probably several times a month, and I always love getting an email from one of the ITRR team because it's so fun to see the data coming together and talking to people out in the field. So well done, and keep up the good work.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. And I just want to thank our team, as you all said. Anyone is available for an email, a phone call. They are so patient and bright. I love to listen to everyone answer research questions, and I am just so honored to work with such a great team. And again, the TAC is a valuable part of what we do, and I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, Saber. Thank you, Melissa. I know Saber and I are both pumped to see your dinosaur research and your museum research when you present it to us in the future. So I know we're
well, and that project has been wildly successful. We had students travel around the state this summer, intercept visitors, leave surveys. I think we have over 300 responses already. It's interesting what projects sometimes you're unsure will be successful that are, or projects you think are going to be really successful that don't work out so well. It's kind of a funny place. But the museum one has been very successful. Our Canyon Ferry is getting ready to start. That's a really complicated recreation monitoring project. Counting people is hard, y'all. If you don't already know, it's really hard. But the stargazing report should come out soon. That's really exciting. Agritourism, yeah, Eastern, like, it's just so great. And as you know, we collect all this research and we do this, but closing reports is one of the challenges because we want to make sure everyone's seen it before it goes out. We want to make sure we've put our best foot forward, interpreted everything. We have new like formats for everything. So it takes a little bit of time to kind of put the bow on it. Yeah, real exciting.
excellent. Thank you.
And Barb, if you want this presentation, we're happy to PDF and give it to you. We'll probably post it up. And we are going to put some links in it. So that way, if someone looks at it online, they can click on things.
That would be great. I would be happy to post it. Thank you.
Thanks, Barb, for everything you do. We appreciate everyone.
Thank you. Do we have any more discussion for Melissa and her team? Hearing none, Melissa, we're grateful for your time. We're grateful for your patience and all the rest of you. We know you're very busy with our agenda, so thank you very much. We'll see you again soon. And it looks like we had a couple, Rachel posted some interesting things in comment. So if we want to take a look at her links, and they're always calling for new projects. So if any of you would like to submit any projects, it's not just from the council. We open that up to everyone to submit projects for them to consider. Great. Very good. Thank you. Moving on to future communication strategies. I just want to briefly share, as we have new council members, Brookie, that the council always seems to ask each other or ask the leadership, like, how is it we can fulfill the part of our statute where we advise the Department of Commerce? And so I just always want to fill that in. So we recently had a great meeting. So Joan, myself, and Mike Johnson recently had a meeting with Mandy and Jenny Play and Mitch from Marcom, and they gave us some insights. So this is the first time in recent history that we have not had a presentation from the Department of Commerce, from what's now Marcom or Tribal Tourism or something like that. And so it was asked, and so they said they had nothing to update us with or go on record. And so I had a meeting with them, and they said that they are happy to answer questions from the council via email. They are happy that they put on a monthly pulse. Mandy puts on a monthly pulse of the tourism industry virtual call. However, not the council, all of the council members can't attend because we can't have a quorum. So anytime there's a quorum of council members, it constitutes an open public meeting. And so I am going to follow up after this meeting, if it's all right with you, Joan and Saber, and ask that those get recorded. So then the chair or vice chair or Barb can send that recording out. Because as chair, I've never been able, I can't take minutes of all of those meetings. And sometimes they're updates, that might be questions we might want to ask of them back then via email to Mitch or Jenny or Mandy. And sometimes there aren't. So I'm going to request. I can't guarantee it will happen, but it is, as is your chair, I was not able to take minutes for an hour or half hour long meeting. And then there is Barb, our Barb here, puts on a tourism partner call every other month. And that is where the DMOs give updates about what is going on in their region and if they are needing any help with anything, or, if there are any issues going on that Commerce or the TAC, we need to be involved in. Again, our quorum issue with a quorum does there. And so I am going to politely request that one possibly gets recorded. I can't guarantee it will, and then that can get shared with the council. By doing that, you stay informed without comments being mistakenly taken by the chair or vice chair, and that then you as council members, you can stay in the know. And if that raises questions, then questions can be asked of the leadership in the Department of Commerce. And we would just ask that you rope in the chair and vice chair if you're emailing out, just so they know. But again, we can't email each other if there's a quorum. That's why when you see emails from me, it always comes with, as always, do not reply all, reach out directly, because if we hit reply all, it's an open public meeting and we're violating those rules. So, and then obviously it's very important as representatives, you attend your DMOs meetings. I know if you're in a region that has a lot of CVBs, like I do, it's impossible to go to all of those all the time. I do my best to try to go to Robin's meetings and the Bozeman meetings, but I know I haven't visited Gardner or and so it's impossible to take all of your time in your region, but at least you know, at least stay in touch with your DMO leadership, your regional leadership, and they can fill you into what's going on. So does that help kind of understand? Because again, I don't know if in the future we're gonna get commerce reporting to us on marketing or resiliency or anything like that. They opted out and told us that here's how we can comment. So is there any discussion the council would like to have, or any comments from the DMOs or participants that they would like directed to the council? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to the next item at the agenda, and that is the February 4th meeting. We can make a motion on it or not. Typically, our February meeting is virtual because of weather. How unpredictable the weather could be. It could be, you know, like this and a little chilly today, or it could be so hazardous, roads are closed. But I just wanted to bring it up to the council to see if we wanted to continue with a virtual meeting on February 4th, or do we want to try to meet in person, knowing that that's going to be a very important meeting and it would require the DMOs to travel. This meeting was supposed to be in person, and at the request of others, it was asked to be made one day and then virtual. So this is usually an in-person meeting, we made virtual. So there was some budget savings there, but what are your thoughts on moving the February 4th meeting to in-person, or shall we keep it virtual?
Alicia, I think I know the answer to this, but is the meeting in February in Helena, excuse me?
It's typically virtual, so I don't know. Oh, but it's
I'm sorry, my apologies.
No, that's okay. If it was, I would recommend it be in Helena. It's a legislative session or year, but again, we've had usually 2 in-person meetings, the June and October, because weather can be crappy in October, but you know, but we made this one virtual for other reasons, for attendee participation. My thought is to keep it virtual, just because of the roads and no one really has it in their budget, but it may be an all-day meeting. So this one, you know, I anticipated going this long, well, not quite, but anyway, what are your thoughts? Is there, I guess, as the question, is there any overwhelming desire to move it to in-person? No, I'm seeing head shaking.
Now, I would be delighted not to travel to Helena in February on terrible roads for 10 hours, so that would be nice. I'm sure others feel the same way.
Thank you, Brookie.
Yeah, I guess as a new council member, it would be really nice for me to meet people in person, but as long as there is that opportunity, because it's hard to participate in meetings when you haven't even met people face to face.
Yeah.
But I do understand the February weather concerns.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, and normally this October one would be in person with that. Okay, so then as much as we all want to see you, Brookie, let's keep the February virtual, and I don't think we need a motion for that because that's kind of how it was originally scheduled. All right. So again, that will be an important one. And then we can decide how we want to structure the meetings moving forward at the February meeting. We'll put that on the agenda. And just also, so please, council members, block out your all-day February. Let's just say, please block out 8 to 5. We'll build the agenda as we get closer to that. Joan and Saber and myself will, and with Barb. And but just block out your calendar if you could, so you save that date. And then please also put on your calendar to attend in person the Governor's Conference on Tourism in Helena, April 27 through 29. Again, as a council member, we are very lucky. We get reimbursed for our registration. as well as our lodging. We get a per diem for meals that aren't covered as part of the conference, and our travel is reimbursed. So please note that. And then that comes to the end of the meeting. Is there any discussion before we adjourn? My only discussion is to just with all of my professional heart and soul is to thank Barb Sanum for all of her work. She's now our liaison for the council, which is amazing in addition to her full-time job. Thank you for all of your work on the audits and budgets. And Barb, we're just so grateful for you and very thankful for you. And we're here. Thank you for all of your endless support. And we would like to thank the people in your room who are there with you. Barb, would you mind introducing who's been there in your room with you today?
Sure. This is Ashley Tubbs, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself and give a brief update what she does.
Yeah,
Hi,
hello.
Ashley.
Yes, thanks for allowing me to kind of step in and introduce myself at the very end here. As Barb said, my name is Ashley Tubbs. I'm one of the newer people on the tourism team here. My official title is Tourism Outreach Coordinator. I'm working very closely with Rachel Mullen right now on the event grant, which the deadline for the 2025 event grant does close tomorrow at midnight. So I just want to plug that. I'm sure some of you have seen many emails with that information come through. But if you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of Barb and she can send you my way and we can talk about that more. But I just really enjoy the opportunity to learn more about the TAC and all of the great work being done here. So thank you.
Thank you and welcome.
I know we all said it earlier, but I would like to reiterate a heartfelt and round of applause for Alicia's services chair. You've done a great job and through so much. So thank you for everything and congratulations on your last meeting.
Thank you so much. Happy to pass the gavel. Thank you, Saber. It's just been a delight being on the council with you this whole time. Thank you. I remember our first meeting, we went to dinner together because we knew no one in Helena and we only knew each other. So yeah, that was really fun. Thank you. Barb, do you have anybody else with you that you've helped there in the room?
Ashley is the only one here with me. I know we've got others on the call.
Yeah, well, thank you all very much, very much. Thank you. So I'll just wrap up saying congratulations, Saber and Joan, and welcome, Brookie. Matt, please get better. And we'll see you all virtually on February 4th with an agenda to come out in January. So thank you all again, and thank you all your DMOs. Continue your great work, and thank you all from the Department of Commerce that is on here with us. And again, thank you, Barb. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your October. Take care.